everyone.
Hi, Moley.
Hello, everyone. So wonderful to see you all. And Moley wants to say, welcome. Welcome to my party. Yes, as you can see, all Moley's friends are here. And very, very happily, I introduce Alison and her yet unnamed rabbit to say a few words and to do a bit of reading for us from a book.
Thank you, Julia, so much. For a living, one of the things I do is I narrate, I read audiobooks, and I have read, I don't know, maybe more than 250. And some of them are children's books. But when I heard Julia telling the story of Moley, I was completely riveted. And then when I got the book, I loved it. And I believe that in the world, it's a very good thing to bring joy into the world. And when I read Moley, I thought, well, this is a joyful book and a joyful, very intrepid mole. And so we had a little chat, Julia and I, about what I should read. And I'm wondering, Julia, if you would like to set up what has happened just before this moment that we're going to begin with on chapter 4.
Well, we're starting with chapter 4, which is called First Impressions. And again, all J Knights in the group will know where the name of the chapter came from. Moley, by that time, Moley's been already through his ordeal and been purchased finally by a little boy called Ashley and brought to his house and his bedroom and left on the bed to meet all the toys which Ashley had in the bedroom. And you can see them behind me, so it'll help you to understand who is talking when.
First impressions. At that moment, Ashley's mother called him to lunch and he disappeared from the room. Well, said Moley, wiggling himself carefully out of Boris the bear's warm embrace. I am very glad to meet you all, that's for certain. You seem to be very nice. True, replied Boris the bear in a big, low voice with a rolling R and a hard T. Moley, who had never heard a Russian accent before, jumped with fright. Boris spoke so loudly and his R was so long that it sounded like a massive roar, although his face remained benign and friendly and not cross at all. Still, Moley moved away from Boris just a little to be on the safe side. Good to meet you, Moley, said the dinosaur called Bronte, turning towards Moley while remaining at his new sister's side. Dinah said that you hibernated with her in a dark box. Thank you for keeping her safe. Oh, it was nothing, replied Moley, meaning to say that there was actually nothing he had done to keep Dinah safe, but it sounded as if he was, saying it just to be polite, and he felt a little embarrassed and blushed inwardly. Of course, no one could see him blushing because of the thick fur that covered his body, but his nose got a bit pinker than normal, and he looked around nervously, worrying that the others had noticed. The two dogs, Rusty and Rosie, moved closer to Moley, wagging their short tails. You are very welcome, they said in unison. Then they continued talking over each other, both trying to be helpful and give Moley as much information as they could. You will like it here. It is a very good home. The people who live here are Mummy and Daddy and Ashley. They are called Mr. and Mrs. Richards and Ashley. Yes, and Ashley. Ashley loves his toys very much. He plays with us every day. Even though he goes to school now, he allows us to sleep on his bed. The Richardses are all awfully good. Moley liked the sound of this and thought himself very lucky he to have ended up in such a home? All turning out just as he dreamt. If he became friends with all these toys, it would be like a proper family. His slight remaining worry was the owl, who made him feel a little uneasy with the silent gaze of her big round eyes. She watched him intently and without winking, but he wasn't able to read a single thought behind her steady gaze. Said Moley to himself again. It seems that one can conceal one's thoughts after all, even behind such enormously huge eyes. Interesting. He was fascinated by Owlie and wanted to impress her, to show her that he was worth talking to and perhaps even becoming friends with. Feeling slightly frustrated, but trying to hide it the best he could, and feeling flustered as well, Moley turned to the other toys on the bed. The pause in conversation was getting long and he needed to fill the silence. As I understand, he said in a calm and authoritative voice of a leader, for he could not help but behave like one wherever he went. He was that kind of mole. You all know each other well, but Dinah and I are new here. Why don't you tell us your stories? Who was the first to come and live in this house? For a few moments, everyone looked at each other. It so happened that they had discussed the topic before and didn't know the answer to Moley's question. After a while, Owlie spoke for the very first time in a voice no less calm and authoritative than Moley's. I believe that would be me. Everyone fell silent, turning their heads to her with the utmost attention and respect. And from that moment, Moley knew there already was a leader in that room, and alas, it wasn't him. And again he thought, obviously, keeping quiet can sometimes become useful. If you don't rattle on endlessly, others will pay more attention to your every word when eventually you speak. The owl spoke again. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single owl in possession of a hot water bottle must be in want of a home.